Hey, shalom, shalom, mishpocha. Welcome to another edition of Ray Bash's Ramblings, where today I'm going to be talking about Hanukkah. I'm not sure yet. This may be just a one-time video, or it may be a series of videos. I don't know. We'll just kind of see where this goes. But I'd like to discuss a little bit about Hanukkah. I've had a lot of questions here recently about Hanukkah. Some people may want to know but are afraid to ask. First of all, let me tell you what Hanukkah is not. Hanukkah is not the Jewish Christmas. Has nothing to do with Christmas, has nothing to do even with the birth of Messiah, has nothing to do with Tammuz or the birth of pagan gods or the celebration of anything pagan whatsoever. So it has nothing to do with that. But what Hanukkah is a Hebrew word simply meaning dedication. And the first Hanukkah, the whole premise and meaning of Hanukkah is celebrating the dedication of the temple to the Almighty. And the first time this was done is when Solomon built it. After Solomon had finished building the temple, he dedicated it, and the Shekinah glory of God came down mightily upon the temple. And so that was the very first Hanukkah. And Hanukkah has been held on different dates throughout the centuries. Case in point is, Solomon dedicating the temple. It wasn't on the 25th of Kislev as we know Hanukkah is today. And every time the temple was dedicated, or rededicated I should say, it was celebrated, and it was celebrated kind of in the vein of Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles, where it was a very joyous occasion. It lasted 7 to 8 days. And, there was just great pomp and circumstance in regards to this. Now, the reason that we celebrate Hanukkah today is due to the fact of the Levitical priesthood known as the Hasmoneans, or what a lot of people know them as the Maccabees, where they retook the temple that had been taken and destroyed, not necessarily destroyed, but ruined, ransacked by the Greco-Syrian army, and by the one who called himself the Epiphanes. I'm, kind of like, I'm God in the flesh, Epiphanes was, Antiochus Epiphanes was a very evil Greco-Syrian ruler who took the temple, ransacked it, wrecked it, took it away from Israel and from the Levites, from the Hasmoneans, the Maccabees. So they eventually, through guerrilla warfare, they laid down their Torah scrolls and picked up their swords. As Ecclesiastes says, there's a time to be born, a time to die, a time to, for war, and a time for peace. Well, this is clearly a time for war. It even got to the point where there were some devout Jews that were attacked on the Sabbath and were slaughtered. The Maccabeans came afterwards and saw the massacre, and they said, you know what? No more. If we must fight on Shabbat, or must fight on a high holy day, we will do that. And the Torah permits that. And if it's a life or death circumstance, the certain commandments of Torah can be suspended. In a life or death circumstance, are you going to just not fight on Shabbat, or are you going to get killed? Well, you can't keep the commandments, and you can't serve God if you're dead. So in order to keep the commandments and to protect the Sabbath thereafter, sometimes you have to pick up arms on high holy days or on the Sabbath, and that's what the Maccabees did. And they were led by Judah Maccabee, and overcame. Now, the history of the Maccabean revolt can be found in the books of 1st through 4th Maccabees. Many of this can be found in what's called the Apocrypha, or even some Catholic versions of the Bible, renditions of the Bible. So it kind of covers the 400 silent years between the book of Malachi and the Besorah, the Gospel of Matthew. And personally, I think it's just as canonical as the rest of Scripture, as from Genesis to Malachi and from Matthew to Revelation. So there's also some legends regarding Hanukkah, why we give gifts, and why we light menorahs. A regular menorah has 7 branches in memory of the creation week, and the Hanukkah, which is the menorah used at Hanukkah, has there's 9 branches. The middle one is called the servant branch, and it's used to light the others, which there's 4 on each side, making 8 days. There's 8 days of Hanukkah because The legend goes that once the Maccabees had recaptured the temple, that they were in the process of cleansing it, cleaning it up, getting it ready to open up for use again. And they were about ready to do this, but they couldn't find any oil to light the menorah, the oil lamp, the menorah in the temple. They only found one cruse of oil. The rest were the seals has been broken, or the oil was stolen or destroyed, or somehow contaminated, and it was no longer fit or kosher for use in the temple. But one remained, and this cruse of oil, they said, you know what? It's this may only last a day at best, and it took 8 days to make the special oil for the menorah. So by faith, they used that cruse of oil, only lasting 1 day, and God created a miracle. A miracle happened, and that oil was sufficient to last for 8 days until new kosher holy oil could be fabricated, made, used for the menorah. So that's why we light the menorah. The reason we give gifts is to celebrate the victory over the Greco-Syrians and taking back the temple, just as they gave gifts at Purim during the time of Esther. Kind of the same principle. It was gifts for well wishes and victory. And so, this happened on the Hebraic calendar of the 25th of Kislev, which on the secular calendar falls at different times. Could anywhere be from November to December or whatever, but this year it falls on December 12th, the first night of Hanukkah. Even Yeshua himself in the Gospel of John, I believe it's chapter 10, could be off a chapter or so, but Yeshua was at the temple in Solomon's colonnade during the Feast of Dedication, Hanukkah. So even Yeshua celebrated Hanukkah. So even if Hanukkah is not mentioned as one of the high holy days that's commanded for us to celebrate in Leviticus chapter 23, I think it behooves all believers in Messiah to celebrate the victory over the Maccabees and to celebrate Hanukkah, the rededication of the temple. Because if it wasn't for the Maccabees, Yeshua himself could not fulfill prophecy by going in lieu of the Shekinah. You know how the Shekinah descended on the Solomon's temple? Well, it didn't on the second temple when it was rebuilt. But Yeshua symbolized the Shekinah, the glory of God, because he was the embodiment of the Almighty, and he came and he walked in the temple, and he fulfilled prophecy by walking and teaching in the temple, ministering in the temple. So if it wasn't for the Maccabees, that would have never have happened. So it's a great time, and it's especially great, if you want to get away from the paganized holidays such as Easter and Christmas and stuff, especially Christmas because it falls around this time of year. It's a great way to replace that and keep your family celebrating and be joyous during this occasion and this season. So that's kind of Hanukkah in a nutshell. Like I said, there may be another video, may not, don't know yet, but thought you guys would enjoy this informative video about Hanukkah. So we'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, for all your prayers, supports, comments, and catch you guys later. Shalom, Shavuot Tov, Nishboka.